Can I ask a follow-up? And in your response, you might, may I?
Sure.
Okay,
As
so
long as you smile.
my follow-up, again, it will depend. My follow-up is this. Would it be possible, especially for teachers who are coming to this to learn how to help their teams be better prepared, to have a sample panel give a unit with judges who then we can judge as well, and you can tell us why you did what you did and explain to us what about that the kids wouldn't need to know, just some team that volunteers to do it, so that we know what you're thinking and you can talk us through it after it happens. That way we would have a sense of what you think a 6 is and what you think an 8 is and what you think a 2 was. I would find that very helpful, and just as a possible addition to future years, if you think that would have value or if you think that would be unwise.
As I listened to your question, you made me realize I'm not a judge here, I'm a juror. I take my jury instructions from the Center for Civic Education, and I'm asked to follow certain criteria and to apply those criteria. I'm not making them up. I'm not a judge in that sense, and I know what it means to be a judge. And I really think that's what we are, is we are acting as jurors. Have the students demonstrated that they understand? Have they answered the question? Have they done the constitutional application, and so on? When you ask us, do we normalize the judging? If not, why not? That's a question I can't answer because I'm not from the Center for Civic Education. So I would urge you to direct your question to the center if it is important. With respect to within panels, we are asked to compare notes so that we're not radically different. If someone comes up with a total of a 26 and someone else comes up with a total of a 50, therein lies a problem. And in the 2 to 3 minutes that we have to do our scoring after the presentations, we check with one another to make sure that we're within an acceptable range, because people do see the world differently, but usually not that dramatically differently. I have never had a situation where another judge and I have been off by more than 3 or 4 points. Now, the next question you asked is, if you don't normalize your judging within panels or among panels, why not? We have no opportunity to talk to other panels. There's that same kind of cone of silence with respect to judging that there is with respect to the students. We are not comparing notes with other judges from other units or with other Unit 1 judges. So I'm hoping that is responsive. With respect to the training, everybody has the opportunity to receive the textbook in advance. I hope that everybody who's serving as a juror, you've now gotten me to change my view of what I do here, has prepared to that extent and is following the law as they have been asked to apply.
Thank you.
I'll just add one thing, which is I've been doing this for a number of years also, and this year my panel really observed the same, I guess, sort of QC procedure that we had in the years past, in which after we come out of a hearing, we'll sort of make some sort of general observations as to our personal belief as to how it went and how it ranked. We'll then individually fill out our score sheets, but when we get back to at the break or when we're finished for the morning or the afternoon, we will we'll put them in order, and then we will compare and see if we had ordered the teams similarly. And if we hadn't, or if there's a gross disparity, that will then prompt a discussion as to why we thought a particular team was better or worse than another team. And 90% of the time, 95% of the time, we have ranked them in almost identical orders, even if our precise scoring is a little off. But as Sue says, it's usually not that much off. And then I can also tell you these scores are then reviewed once they're handed in to make sure there's not something that's off the charts. In which case, then the judge is contacted and sort of asked to justify the score.
Just remember, there was one other thing I wanted to mention. At a number of the summer institutes that I've been attending, I've seen the directors ask teachers to do exactly what you have suggested. The center has a number of videos of student presentations, and to have the people in the institute sit down with a scoring sheet, go through it, and then compare their notes. And so a lot of people have had that opportunity. And again, what is striking is how consistently, not identical, but close people are in saying, they didn't answer the question, or wow, they really understand this, or that was a great response to a tough question. People don't have these huge disparate differences in their perceptions of what they have just seen. Now that's done at institutes, but we'll let Bob talk about your other suggestion.
Yeah, thank you. This is a very important question, Rob. I appreciate you bringing it up. One, they've done a very good job, I think, of repeating what we do in terms of the judges' orientation here, which I hope is a model for the state coordinators who usually act as the facilitators walking the judges around here, because then they can duplicate that back in the various states. But, as you know, we have 50 state programs, the District of Columbia and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. There are variations on the theme, if you will. I do stress to the judges, the first thing I say to them is that to a large extent, the quality of this competition is in their hands. And that's not only true here, that's true at the state level and the congressional district level and in a class level. The judges can make or break the program, and I believe that young people at all ages, from 5th grade on up, deserve well-trained judges. Now, I stress that verbally to state coordinators and ask them many times, what are you doing at your judges training? And that don't short shrift that. Their responses to me a lot of times is, well, it's the same group of judges from last year, they don't want to come. I say, make them come. Because it's not their living. They do this once or twice a year. It's okay. It shows the seriousness of what's going on here, that these young people are putting their statements out there, and they deserve judges who are paying attention, who are knowledgeable, and stress that as being very, very important. It's a grand, large program. There's going to be inconsistencies among the states. We obviously tried to make that more consistent, but remember here, there are 72 judges for a reason. We don't want one judge walking around who might be perfect, because that one perfect judge is not a good answer, I don't think. What we want is 72 people who may have similar instructions, but have different personalities, approach the process a little bit different, in a diverse kind of way. I think we try to balance that out, the diversity of who they are as people looking at the same thing, with the fact that there are these guidelines. And when they've mentioned this to you, that what happens is if the judges turn in scores, we call it aberrant scoring, if it's 12 or 13 points away from the next score, our TAC Craven comes to me, and then I go to the judges, and I don't make them change anything, but I make them talk about it.